Grief is the internal coping mechanism with loss, and it's usually associated with death, but it could be a loss of anything, a loss of a friend, a loss of a job, a loss of anything. There are 5 stages of grief: denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. There's no set way to go through grief. You can start off angry and then lead to bargaining and lead to depression. You can start off in denial and stay in denial for a long period of time.
Navigating the grief process for me was definitely not linear. I was familiar with the stages of grief, but I had never experienced a loss to this magnitude before. And as a result, there was really nothing I think I could have ever done to prepare myself for it.
I felt guilt for his death. Felt like maybe I did something wrong during the pregnancy. It was just extremely hard to go through something like that, and I hadn't known of anybody that went through it. But when I started telling folks that I'd gone through it, that's when family members and friends, neighbors, relayed their story to me that they had gone through it. And I'm like, well, I've known these people all this time and they've never even said anything. But it's not something that you go around talking about.
The grief itself was all-consuming, and I felt as though I cried constantly. I just couldn't think about it without crying, so I was constantly in tears. But I could see that it was getting less and less as I was able to go back to, living my life and doing the things that I had to do.
You learn that people grieve differently, and Gina just leaned into the tension and just kind of kept pushing forward, whereas I was asking questions and angry, and just kind of being in that point of understanding of each other was helpful.
Everyone's gonna come at you with all the things that you can do to take care of yourself, and only you really know what's really gonna soothe you. And a lot of people are embarrassed to ask for help. There's too many ways to reach out. There's people all over the place. Family, teachers, doctor. Talk to anybody. Keep talking until you feel better. In hindsight, I wish that I had taken some time to maybe see a counselor, a grief counselor or something, because I definitely think that there are a lot of effects that the grief had on me that I wasn't aware of until maybe even recently. And he was born and passed away 12 years ago. But not processing things in your life, you're doing yourself a great disservice. And I truly wish that I had sought out some kind of counseling. I don't know how that's affected me. Because if I'm having these emotions now, after all these years, I don't know if it's hindered me by not talking about it. As the years go by, it's much more nostalgic in a way, instead of heart-wrenching, to think about it. I was just so glad that he was in our lives.